we were 122 foot inside the building when it blew up, and then it blew up again. So, and somehow we crawled out of there. I ended up having to have a couple surgeries, some skin grafts, and then shoulder surgery. And there were 8 of us in total that got hurt pretty significantly.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Flip That Switch. I'm your boy B to the Sis Naive, and we are back with another episode. If you didn't get a chance to go watch the previous episode, please go back and watch that. As a matter of fact, before you watch this one, go back and watch that one. But today we're going to be diving into a new episode, and we are going to be just talking about the journey of the couple that's going to be joining me today and how they met and their careers, and just kind of getting the idea of who they are as individuals as well as a couple, you know. And so first, before we dive in, I do want to introduce the couple that's going to be doing the episode with me today. We met this couple on a cruise. Actually, the episode we did with Janie and Dave, they were also on that same cruise. And so we just got to meet some really, really great people, and we hit it off. And this was also a couple that we hit it off with. We had dinner a couple nights. We did a concert. I was able to do a concert with him, and also Dave, the other guy I did the other episode with. But all in all, it was just a fun time, and it was great vibes all the way around. And this couple, they just, as soon as we started connecting with them, it was like we had known each other a long time. We have so many things in common, and we have our industries in common, but they're just a nice, genuine, authentic couple. They have a beautiful family, and they're out here just grinding just like everybody else. But I think the vibes that they have and the energy that they bring is an energy that is really infectious. And I think that was one of the main reasons why we were able to connect so well with them, because our energies just match. You know, I'm big on energy. I'm big on the flow of things. If the energy is and the vibe isn't there, then you may get 5 minutes out of me, and then I probably won't talk to you again. But with this couple, we just continuously had a good time with them, because they were just, the energy was just flowing, man. It was just good. It was great vibes and great conversation and a lot of laughing. Being around each other was just a great thing. So they've agreed to do this episode with me. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the show, Ryan and Melissa. How you guys doing?
We're good. That was the nicest introduction ever.
I know, man. It's getting dusty in here, bud. I'm about to cry, man. That was so nice.
We feel the same, though. We love y'all. Like, you're so right about energy. Like, some people you just connect with, and we all did.
Yeah, no. There's great people on that shit, man. I had a blast.
No, for sure. Yeah. And I like the fact that, you know, friendships were made. Also, it wasn't just like connecting with you guys and then it's like, oh, we'll talk to you when we talk to you. We'll see you when we see you. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, we need to continue to cultivate and build this friendship, because we're all authentic and genuine people. So I'm always appreciative of those moments.
Yeah, now we get to see y'all next month. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be that's right. Jersey.
Yeah.
Oh, is that June or no? I think that's July.
Half a month, 2 months.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah,
2 months.
Just too many things going through my head, you know.
You're wanting it to be next month, you know.
I know that would be great. But yeah, that's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, thank you for having us on. We're excited to talk to you, and yeah, I'm glad that we can continue being friends after all that. And we did. We just like had a blast.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so you guys ready to dive right in?
Let's do it.
All right, so Melissa and Ryan. First of all, how long have you guys been married?
Let's see if he knows. I know.
This will be 12 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 12 years.
In a couple weeks, June 15th.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's our wedding anniversary, 12 years. Yeah, we dated for a year, and then we got engaged for a year, and then we got married.
Yeah. Wow, that is awesome. 12 years.
Wow. And we still like each other, so yeah.
It's a hot minute.
Sure. Yeah, I was just getting ready to ask, do y'all still like each other?
Oh yeah, I think we have like way more fun now, even than we did like when we were younger. You know, like when you get older, you kind of don't care what people think as much anymore, and I feel like we're just just kicking it every day, having fun together, and
good energy, good vibes,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And for y'all that don't know them, I'll link their IG in the description when we're done here. But they are one of the funniest couples on Instagram. Like every time I watch their content, I just laugh and comment because it's like some of the funniest stuff. And it's just good to know that you can be married to someone and also just be best friends and have fun. Because I couldn't imagine being in a situation where I can't just have fun and laugh and enjoy my significant other, you know? And so it's just good to see couples just like us that are just really just married, but also just going through life, but still having fun, still finding ways to laugh, still being creative in the things that we do and the skills that we've been blessed with. It's just amazing, amazing to see. So, y'all, this is a funny couple. So I'll link their IG once we're done here. But okay, so let's dive right in. So prior to you guys meeting, had you been married before, either one of you?
No.
No.
Okay. And when you guys found each other, were you looking like were you actively looking and pursuing a relationship, or was it kind of like, if one comes along, I'll entertain it, but I'm enjoying embracing my singleness? Like how was that dynamic?
I was actually hanging out with a bunch of my buddies at a bar, and this little blondie over here needed a chair, and then she was eavesdropping.
No. But you
Oh,
weren't actively look. I mean, you weren't like trying to find a wife that night. You know, like we were just going out having fun. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty random,
but I had just moved to Tulsa, and I met him literally my first weekend. Like, it was so meant to be that I met him here because I moved to a new city. I didn't know anybody. I moved here for work, and then I met him. But I had just gone through a breakup, so I definitely was not looking for a relationship. Like, he was supposed to be the fun guy. And now he still is the fun guy, but we're married.
she was only supposed to be here a year.
Yeah, well, 2 years.
Oh, two.
I was supposed to be here 2 years and then move to another city for my job, but
Okay.
he kept me here.
That's right. I got you.
And Melissa, where are you from originally?
Originally from just outside of Houston, from Katy, Texas.
Okay. And Ryan, where are you from?
I'm from Tulsa, where we currently live.
Got
So
it. Okay. Okay. So you moved out to Tulsa and then you guys met.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Okay. And how long was it before you actually started dating each other? Like, was it right away? How long before you guys got exclusive?
oh man, she was hooked, hook, line, and sinker, bud.
Hey,
Got it.
right. Boop.
Instant. She might not say that, but it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I didn't even give him my number at first. I gave him my Facebook page, and it wasn't even my personal page. It was my work page.
Oh,
Because
wow.
I didn't know. I mean, I just moved to this town. I was like a young news reporter. I'm like, I'm not sure if this guy is cool or not. Like, I don't know if I want him to have my number. So we started chatting on Facebook, and then we actually saw each other like on a scene. Like I was like he had gone to a fire. It was a bunch of U-Haul trucks, I think, and then I had shown up to do a story about it. So we
Okay.
ran into each other, and then we went on a lunch date because I didn't like to go on dinner dates with guys I hadn't met yet. Because I'm like, well, what if they're weird? Like, at least if it's lunch, I can be like, dude, I gotta go. I got an appointment. You know, you can get out of there.
Yeah,
Right.
me too. I needed an out too. I needed to make sure, I could get out.
That is hilarious. So you were a news reporter, and I'm Ryan. You are a firefighter, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so basically, you were there was a fire you were going to put out, and you were actually a news reporter, being doing what you do to report the fire and stuff like that, and that's how you guys initially met.
Yeah, well, yeah. So we met at the bar just randomly, but for whatever reason, like, man, 3 days later or something, she happened to show up, and I was like, look who it is. I was like, hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
I'm like, I'm working. Like, I'm being serious.
Well, I was working too.
I know, but your job was over. Once the fire's out, they're good. I still had to work.
Wow, that is awesome. Okay, so when you saw her at the bar, it was a situation. Who asked who out?
You
I love this, and I love letting
definitely
him
asked
answer
me.
first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. That's probably how it went. No, I did. I asked her out. So, because what
Okay.
you were eavesdropping, and then yeah, because I told my friends they were actually trying to get me to get one more drink,
Yeah.
before we went home, and I was like, man, I got to be at the station in like 5 hours. I can't do another drink. And then this little blondie over here, it's like, what news station do you work at? It's like, oh, hey.
Oh,
But yeah, it's not a news station, darling. It's a fire station.
Darling, you did not say that.
So then it just kind of, I said, let me get them digits. But she said, no, let me give you that Facebook.
which I
And he
mean,
was persistent.
yeah, but in fairness, now it's like you get the IG, you don't just get the number right away. You got to kind of connect with the person and see the vibe
Yeah,
they're about.
Yeah,
So,
I was the trendsetter of that back then, because that was still new.
yeah.
and then she hit you with the work Facebook, not the personal, the work one.
The work, and she had a different name on TV. Wasn't it
Wow.
like it was Melissa Ramsey?
It was my maiden name. Yeah.
Yeah. No, your middle name.
As a female, you got to protect yourself. Like, it's just, I want to make sure that he's not someone, because there is in the news world, you do have to deal with stalkers. Like, there are dudes that literally will stalk news reporters or anchors. And it was like, you just never know. You got to, like, get to know them first and, like, all right, you're safe.
Yeah, you the eavesdropper. Really? You were the one I needed to be worried about.
I
I
just
was
would
like,
always be listening.
she was the one that was unsafe.
Yeah.
You too, Mo, stop it.
Oh, that's hilarious. So how long were you a news reporter?
In total, about 8 years. But at that point, when we had met, I'd only been a news reporter for 2 years. And so my first job was in Lafayette, Louisiana. And that's kind of how it works. You do like 2-year contracts and move to bigger cities. And so my second job was here in Tulsa as a morning reporter.
Okay. Okay. Nice. And so let me ask you this. So obviously, he's asking you out, right? And you know that he's a firefighter. Did that ever creep into your mind like, oh man, that's kind of a risky career. I don't know if that's really the right person that I'm really should be going for, or how did that and what was that dynamic like?
So I should have been like that, but my thought was like, oh, I'm a news reporter. I go on scenes all the time with firefighters, and I had never seen anything bad happen to a firefighter up until that point. So I'm like, oh, they're just like superheroes. Like, I kind of thought like he was invincible. Like, I definitely had my concerns. I was more concerned with like mixing work, because I would have to see him professionally, and I'm like, man, I just don't want to go around dating a bunch of like people I'm gonna see. Uh, but I wasn't as concerned about his safety. But then the morning, we'd been dating about 4 months, when he was inside a building and he did actually get blown up, like that changed everything of my perspective about his job, and realizing like he is a little bit more fragile, than I thought. I just didn't. You think like firefighters, police, they're superheroes, until they're not. So
So Ryan, talk to me a little bit about what happened with that situation. You went into a building and what happened with that?
It was a very large building. It was an elementary school, actually. And I don't even know how many thousands of square feet. It was a very large structure, and it was actually a double backdraft. And to my knowledge, I don't know that there's really many other people that have survived that. We got lucky. I don't know what happened.
explain what a double backdraft is?
Well, it's basically a giant explosion when the right mixture of oxygen and heat and everything a fire needs to auto ignite and combust is perfect. And we were 122 foot inside the building when it blew up, and then it blew up again. So,
Wow.
and somehow we crawled out of there. I ended up having to have a couple surgeries, some skin grafts, and then shoulder surgery. And there were 8 of us in total that got hurt pretty
Wow.
significantly. So,
Did anybody pass away from the fire?
no. Matter of fact, it's kind of weird, but afterwards there was ATF from all over the country coming to basically investigate and figure out why we didn't die. They took our gear for like 2 years and were inspecting it, and then we actually had to sign some documents to allow them to put it in like study material and some books. It's kind of still figure, and nobody really knows how the heck we got out of there. But
Yeah, because statistically, most people die, you know, if they're in a situation like that. So it is wild that they all came out of it.
Don't quote me on the numbers, but I think it got up to like 1,700 degrees or something, and our gear's like not really even rated to. Don't quote me on the exact numbers. I'm sure somebody might watch this and know the exact numbers, but I believe our gear. I don't even know if it was rated to have the temperature that we were at. Whatever happened, it all worked out. So that was
Wow.
good.
So when you got out of there, what degree burns did you have?
Third degree.
Third
I had to
degree.
get, yeah, there's part of my rear end on my neck and ear.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
have some skin grafts. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
feeling the sun, when the sun hits it, it gets red and you can like tell, you know, that it's different skin. But they tried to let it heal on its own, but it wouldn't. So then he had, because the skin grafts are insanely painful. Like when we were going up to the burn unit, you see the toughest guys in the world like brought to tears from being in there. Like it is rough.
Man.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. That that's amazing that you survived it. So when so they still haven't figured out how you guys survived it to this day.
I don't know. It's been what September 5th of 2012. So this September will be 13 years. So I haven't really. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever came back, but don't they use that in all the training now?
Yeah.
The fire department.
Yeah, and like every academy we have, they show it. And I don't know. The
Wow.
video footage is actually pretty impressive. I'm not.
Well, yeah, if you weren't inside of it, it would be a little cooler.
Yeah, yeah. If you weren't inside, it'd be like all of the guys on the outside, like thought they were going in to do a recovery afterwards, and somehow we crawled out of there. But
All eight of you.
yeah, all eight of us.
That's a blessing, man. That is a blessing. When you got out of there, did you second guess, like did you think to yourself, okay, no, I don't want to do this anymore. My life is just way too important. Like, did you second guess what you were doing? Did you have any thoughts of quitting?
No, I people asked me that like a couple years later, and I guess maybe it was good nobody asked me that uh, at that time. But no, man, I never thought about it. I mean, not once. I mean, my dad was on the same department for 35 years, and my uncle was on there. Actually, my dad was the chief on the upcoming shift that was supposed to relieve me, and they sent
Mm,
him to the hospital to go be with me. But so no, I kind of have been around it my whole life, and I was still really new at the time, so I didn't really understand the magnitude kind of what had happened
mhm.
until a little sometime later. You know, I was like, "Ooh, oh, that was a pretty big deal, I guess." So, but no, I thankfully I didn't question it. I'm glad a little over 14 years on today, so uh, still doing it.
Still
He
doing
was
it.
meant he was meant to do this job. And I mean, he's very modest about it, but he's like saved a lot of people's lives, you
Yeah.
know, and like he just has like that public service heart.
Of course. Yeah. That's the thing. That's what I think, that's an admiration in itself. The fact that you know that this is something that is your calling and what you've been destined to do. So even those type of situations that happen, that a lot of people would be like, you know what, I'm done. I'm giving up. There's no way I'm going to go back to this. You still had the mindset of, nope, this is what I've been called to do, and I'm going to continue to do it, and I'm going to continue to impact people's lives because this is what's been destined for me. So that in itself is an admiration, man. Like seriously, a lot of people wouldn't be able to come back from that. A lot of people, you're probably like one of, I don't know numbers or anything like that, but I just couldn't imagine myself being in that situation and being able to be like, you know what, I'm going to go back to work and do the same thing that almost took my life. So much respect and admiration to you for that. That is awesome.
Thanks,
Really,
man.
really,
Appreciate
really
it.
awesome. Absolutely. All right. So Melissa, going over to you, when that happened, were you like, okay, you know what? I can't lose you. You're going to have to make a decision. But personally, I think that, like, what was your mindset after that happened?
It was just like, whoa, your job is dangerous. So I was a news reporter that morning. I was out on another scene and I got a call from my producer. They're like, hey, there's this massive fire. We're rerouting you. You're going to go report on it. Well, I looked
Okay.
and I'm like, oh, that's right by his fire station. And I had texted him and asked him like if he was at this fire, and did he respond somehow?
I think I just said big fire.
Like I don't know how he responded if he had just.
I was
Wait. So what you did you was this after the blow up, the
yeah.
backdraft?
I think I happened to have my phone in my pocket, and it made it through. And I think I was in the ambulance, or
He must have been out of the building because by the time they had told us, they'd already seen all the explosion and knew it was bad. So I'm sure a couple minutes like had passed.
yeah, I was already in the ambulance when you got there, wasn't I?
Yeah. So we show up, and it is the firefighters' looks on their faces. They were panicked. You know, the guys on the outside because they really thought they died. You know, they were sitting out there like manning their trucks, and they thought that they died. And so I kept going around, and I'm like, "Hey, where's the ambulances?" Because I knew that like he had to have been in an ambulance. Well, one guy just thought I was being a nosy news reporter and was like,
Oh,
"Get
I
out of
forgot about
here!" And I'm like, no, my boyfriend's in that. Like, he's one of the firefighters. Like, I don't care about my job. Like, I'm not trying to get info. I just want to see that he's all right. And so then they let me back and go see him. And I think it was like adrenaline, you know, like he was just caught up. This just happened. Like, he didn't realize it. Like, nobody realized it. So we went through that. But I never wanted him to, like, quit his job or anything like that because I know he loves it, you know? And so I never would have wanted that. Like I definitely more concerned. Like after that, we started to do the Find My Friends app. So at
Okay.
least like I would know, oh, if there's a big fire here, and I could at least know he's on it, even if he can't get back to me.
Mhm.
But it just definitely did show me, you know, just how quick life can be taken. Like it really can. Like you can be here a big, strong firefighter, and then there's an accident and you're gone. Like life is short. You know,
No,
you never know.
absolutely. Yeah. Oh gosh, man, that's a heck of a story, man. But you are here today, and
That's right.
you get like you married. How many kids you guys have?
We've got three beautiful kids together. They range from 3 to 9.
You sound all professional.
They range from
Yeah.
3 to 1.
Our youngest is about to be 4.
Yeah, she turns 4 this weekend. That's why I was like, well,
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Okay, happy birthday to her. Early
Oh,
birthday.
thank you.
You guys want
Yeah.
any more kids?
Nah, man, no moss. Got the clip.
Oh, the snip that got snipped up.
Oh,
Ah,
yeah.
Yeah, those little half millions running around. I got enough of those.
They say that each kid costs about $500,000 throughout their life. That's why you had to think about that.
oh man, yeah. And we just got the one, but that
She's
number.
so cute. She is so cute.
Yeah, your little girl is very cute.
Oh, appreciate it. So how do the kids feel about your career? Like, do they kind of know? Do they even know like how major your career is, or is it kind of like they just know daddy's going to work and it's like,
I don't know. I think they've seen me on the news a couple times, so maybe they think it's cool, but I don't think they're really at the age yet where they understand, like, hey, dad maybe he might do some pretty hairy stuff, but
Yeah.
that's fine. I don't ever want them to be scared. So
But they think like he's been able to go up to their preschools when they were little and do the show and tell when the firefighters would come, and the kids just loved it, and all the other little kids would be like, "Oh, your daddy's a firefighter," you know. So they all just think like it's cool. Like daddy has this cool job. Not
no,
daddy has this super dangerous job.
yeah, wow, that's awesome. All right, so speaking of careers, so Melissa, you got out of how long have you been out of being a news reporter?
So as soon as we had our oldest London, I quit about like 6 months later. I tried to go back, and I'm like, I can't do this, like especially with his crazy schedule. So I guess she's 8.5 years. Wow. It's been 8.5 years.
Wow. And what
Yeah.
did you so did you just stay at home and just be with the kids after you left?
No,
Or
I wish, but firefighters don't make that much money. So I still had to work. Uh, but what I did is kind of what's led to like the career that I have now with social media is I had learned all about social media when I was a news reporter. So I was like, well, maybe I can help run businesses social media, or I can help them get on the news if they want to do like media coverage for something. So I started working with businesses and using a lot of the same skills that I was using. And then that kind of led to our stuff too, because I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to start sharing videos of our own stuff online because I think this is funny and maybe other people will too. And so
Yeah.
it just kind of like evolved. Like it was all meant to be, because if I wasn't in that career, I wouldn't have had the skills or like known, to do what we do now.
Right, right, right. No, that's awesome. And Ryan, obviously you're on board with the content creation because you guys do videos together. Did when she came to you and was like, "Hey, I'd like for us to do videos," were you on board with it at first?
No. At first, I was like, "You want to do what?" I was like,
Post it where? The ticker talker?
"Yeah." I was like, "TikTok." I was like,
Soccer.
"This is gonna be. This is a scam." I was like, "This isn't real." What? And then she did. Well, she was doing it by herself at first. Then she needed the golden goose, bro. And uh,
Hilarious.
so then we did this Amazon video, and like right after we did it, I mean, I didn't really know anything about it. And then the phone, like Good Morning America called. Then the Today Show.
Kelly Clark.
And then we were live on Kelly Clarkson. Then these magazines, and I was like, "What in the world is going on?"
It was just a silly prank. I just thought like, oh, I'm going to do something different than what I normally do. I was doing like a lot of mom stuff. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm going to pull my prank pull a prank and video it. And it just went like insanely viral. Like,
Wow.
Yeah. So after that happened, I was like, "Oh wow, huh?
okay, it
Yeah.
is
Well, maybe this is real." But then
No.
I tell you what, I didn't get real involved until I met my man Brandon and Dave and all you guys. Then remember, I created my own account.
You did. Now you have your own IG, and you got thousands of followers like overnight.
Yeah, yeah. And then yeah, so now I've actually tried to learn. I'm still trying to learn how to make a reel or do some editing, but I know how to do a story now. So, baby steps.
yeah.
Absolutely. That's kind of like our journey was we were initially supposed to be a travel channel. So like when we travel, we document our travels, like the hotels we stay at, the people we meet, the places we go to visit. And then COVID happened. Because we started YouTube during COVID. It was in 2020. And we were like, man, we're not traveling, but we really want to get this channel off the ground. What can we do? So we pivoted and started doing pranks on each other. Our first video that went viral was our proposal when I proposed to her. I proposed to her on her birthday, and that went viral.
Oh, well, that's a sweet one to go viral.
Yeah, yeah. And so then we started doing the pranks because we were like, man, we want to do this, but the traveling is just not there because of the COVID. And so we started doing pranks. A couple of them went viral, and that's exactly how we got on. But initially, I was like you, Ryan. I was like, I don't know about this. And Destiny was like the driver behind, us doing it. And so when I started to see like the numbers go up and the virality and then brand deals and stuff, I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, wait, people are getting money to post videos? Because I didn't know what social media was about. I only watched YouTube for old basketball highlights, like that. I didn't know what YouTube was. I didn't know to the extent of what it was. And boy, did I find out real quick. And I was like, okay, yeah, we can
I'm
do this.
in.
I'm finally on board with it.
Well, you and Destiny have like those infectious personalities too. And I feel like a lot of times on social media, like you don't even know if you have it, but then people are drawn to you. And I feel like you guys are totally like that. Like even meeting both of you in person for the first time, like your smile, your laugh, like Destiny has that too. You guys just like are good people, good vibes. I feel like you attract that. People can sense that watching y'all stuff.
Oh no, yes, for sure. I appreciate that compliment because that's what really social media is about. It's really just about impacting people and putting smiles on people's faces. You never know what people are going through, and if you can get out here and you can just make them laugh for even 30 to 60 seconds, or for 8 to 10 minutes on a long form video, that is just an amazing thing, and it really does give you fulfillment in life. So, okay, so fast forward to now. So, you guys have been on social media how long?
So that was probably in 2021 that our first video went viral. But honestly, I was just doing it in my spare time. I didn't take it serious as like a real job. You know, I was like, oh, cool, we went viral one time. Like, that's cool. But then it was probably like last year is when I actually was like, oh, I'm really, really going to focus and actually pump out content consistently. And that's when it, you know, kind of switched for us. But I'd always liked videos. You know, I'd always liked, like I was a cheerleader when I was young and I would edit music for our cheer routines. Like I always thought it was fun to do that kind of stuff. So to me it's like just like my natural skill set. So whether or not we had gone viral, I would still be posting videos. But now I just post more.
And so you do it full time now.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And then Ryan, you do it plus you do the plus you're a firefighter still.
Yep, and then I also own another fence and an outdoor company as well.
Yeah.
So, plus
Wow.
all the
No,
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He works hard. Nobody can ever say he's not a hard worker because he is such a hard worker.
Yeah, but very busy, that's for sure.
would you ever transition to it full time and just leave everything?
Absolutely.
Being around y'all is what opened up his eyes. Like,
Yeah.
dude, we really could. Like, eventually we could get there. Like, that would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could, and you know what's funny? I was at my full time job for 6.5 years, and I just left in January. It took me the longest to come to grips with, you know what, like, okay, maybe it's just time. Because my thing was like I've worked since I was 14, and you know I've always worked at that's the only thing I know, right? So for me to be able for me to have the mindset to be like, you know what, I'm gonna leave and just take a leap of faith. That's just not who I was or what I was, you know. And so it took a long time for me to come to grips because I'm thinking to myself like, okay, the guaranteed income's not there anymore. The benefits are not there. Now we got to get medical benefits, you know, outside of that. How much is that going to cost? You know, and just really missing the that guarantee. But finally, I think last year I came to grips with the fact that, you know what, okay, I think I'm in a spot, in a comfortable place where I can be like, I could just walk away from it. And it was still tough. Like when I tell y'all I was nervous, I was nervous.
How many years did you think about it before you actually felt comfortable to do it?
I don't think I felt comfortable until last year. Destiny wanted me to do it a lot sooner. And it was a situation where she would tell me, hey, you know, I think this will be good for us. We can do this. But I wasn't on board with it. I'm like, I just don't see it. And so finally, like I said, last year was really like, okay, I can walk away from this and feel comfortable doing it. And so, yeah, but it took a long time, man. It took a while. It took a long time.
Well, it's such a non-traditional job, you know, so I feel like just to wrap your mind around it, like, oh, you can actually make a full-time salary, like it takes a while. Then you want to feel comfortable earning that salary for a long enough time that you're like, okay.
Yeah,
Stability is hard to walk away from.
Yeah.
it really is. And then on top of that, you're also like, when you're leaving a job, you have to project out like, okay, we're getting these deals now, but what if we hit a dry spell next year and we're not getting any brand deals or, you know, things of that nature? You're kind of weighing all that in. And so when that weighs in your mind, I think that's when the fear and the anxiety kicks back in because it's like, oh man, like, what if we hit a dry spot? I don't have that safety net anymore that I had, you know? So, but it ended up being a good thing. And I think also the fact of having our daughter really kind of played into it too, because now it's like, okay, we can both be at home with her and, you know, it doesn't have to be on one person. And that was kind of what weighed into it as well. I think having our daughter, I was like, okay, we can both be full-time parents and really just help her grow and develop the way that, you know, we need her to do it. So
Yeah, you guys are blessed to be in that situation right now with like I wish we would have started sooner and taken it serious sooner, but I mean I had no idea and, you know.
of course. Yeah. You don't know what you don't know, you know? So, I mean, but I mean, you know, you're halfway there, you know, you're doing it, Melissa. And obviously at some point it'll be both you guys full time, but I think the blessing is the fact that we are able to do it, because a lot of people, they work their corporate jobs, and it's nothing wrong with a corporate job. It's nothing wrong if you're working a 9 to 5 and you want to climb the corporate ladder. But if your goals and your visions are to do so much more and make so much more of an impact, and this is something that you want to do, you have to be put in a position to do that, right? And so if you are in a position to do that, it's such a blessing, because it's like, not a lot of people get to stay home with their kids, or, some people have to send their kids to daycare while they go to work. So I truly agree with you. I think we are blessed to be in the position that we are. And even with you, Ryan, being a firefighter, you're at home a couple of days a week.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to go into a station every day.
Right. Yeah.
And
I work 24 hours and then I'm off 48. So, I'm off 2 out of 3 days. So
nice.
that allows us to have time to do what we do.
Because I will say that's for me as a mom of 3 kids, that's the hardest thing sometimes is finding the time, because it's still a job. You have to edit, and that takes hours, and then you have to put the text and write the caption, and it still is a job. Like, it's actually very similar to what I did as a news reporter, just in a different capacity. So it's like, for me, it's been like that balancing mom life and 3 kids and not working too much, because social media is always there. You can always get on and respond to people, comment. You have to have your boundaries to be able to, I feel like, do it in the long run.
And I think a lot of what people don't understand is a lot of our friends or just people in general are like, oh, I'm gonna have my wife start doing this, or oh, you guys just make a 30-second video, and it's like, I mean, you guys don't understand the grind and how long a 30-second video, how many hours it takes,
To keep people entertained now, because people's standards are going up. So you have to produce.
Very hard to stay relevant.
Yeah.
No, it's the creativity. Yeah. I tell people all the time, what we do is no different than a 9 to 5. We just don't punch a time clock, but with the work that we put in and the editing and all that stuff that goes into it, it's literally a job just like a 9 to 5,
Oh, it's well over 40 hours a week.
Yeah, some weeks, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's worth it because I love it. It's like, this is like perfect for me. I love videos. So I feel like it literally is all meant to be that we've like come to this point.
I mean, like you said, I mean, we do get messages, pretty frequently. It's like, oh, I was at such a downtime in my life and I was contemplating things. And then, I saw some of your videos and they made me laugh and made my day better. So, I mean, that is a good feeling, especially for me, man, because I kind of have a servant's heart, as you would call it, I guess, anyway. So I like to help people, and it does make you feel good when you're like, okay, so this isn't all crazy. It does help some people's days.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. It's fulfilling. It's fulfilling. It's rewarding. And, a lot of people see you. I don't personally like the term famous or celebrity or anything like that, because I don't feel like I am. But, when people walk up to us, they ask us to take pictures. They ask us, they say hi to us. They recognize us from. It just really is a good feeling that we are impacting people's lives in a positive way, and I'm the type of person, like, I'm a humble person. Like, if you see me anywhere, I'll take a picture. I don't care how bummy I look. I don't care what I'm looking like or what I'm going through. I understand and recognize that, without our subscribers and followers, we wouldn't be where we are. So,
without a doubt.
Yeah. So for me, it's nothing, man. But my only thing is that, like, don't look at me as like famous or anything, because I'm not. I'm just a regular person who just gets in front of a camera.
Yeah, no, that's how I feel. That's what's been so refreshing about going on these trips and meeting other couples is it's like you realize they're all just normal people. We all have a common interest. We like to share videos on social media, but everybody's cool. Everybody's normal. Everybody's nice. And I especially feel like our old, like where he's 40, I'm 38. Like at this age, we don't have time to be playing games. Like we're just like ourselves, and all the couples we're meeting are the same. So that's been awesome.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's been dope. What do you guys like to do in your off time? So when you're not making videos, Ryan, when you're not out here putting out fires, what do y'all like to do?
I like to golf. I'm not very good at it, but I sure try to be good.
You always say that. He's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You just be modest.
Yes.
I could be better. I could also be worse, I guess.
Yeah.
But I love to play golf, man. I don't get near as much time as I would like, but when I do have some free time, that's what I try and do. And then obviously, hanging out with our kids. But as far as a hobby, that's pretty much the only thing
That you really like to do.
that I really like to do, or even have time to do.
Yeah.
But,
I like going on trips, but I know we can't always go on trips. But honestly, like a perfect day for me is literally hanging out in the pool in our backyard and just hanging with our kids. Like I love that.
Nice. Nice. Cool. Well, that's an amazing story, and thank y'all for sharing that. So, the last thing I'll leave you with is I always like to end our episodes with a question. And so, Melissa and Ryan, let's say you guys were sitting across the table from 20-year-old Melissa and Ryan, and they come to you asking you for advice on, maybe just, for example, your careers, right? You know, or relationships. It's kind of little, if they generally, right? Like if they're just asking you for advice, how do you navigate life, being married, you having the social media career, Ryan, you being a firefighter, y'all having kids, and then just really just finding time to date each other and still invest in your marriage. If they ask you that, what would you tell them? What type of advice would you give them?
man, I'll be honest. One word is always really important to me, and it's integrity. I would just say, hey, just always try and do the right thing. If somebody's watching or not, if you do the right thing, if you're an honest person and you just try and do good, things are usually gonna be okay. And even if they're not, then you can keep your head held high and know you did everything. So I would say number one, always have integrity, and then as far as the marriage and everything, I mean, integrity, obviously. But number two, just have fun. Um, Everything doesn't always have to be
So
serious. I mean, man, with my job, I like to not be so serious all the time, just because when things are serious at my job, they're very serious. Man, just have integrity and have fun. I mean, I think if you do those two things, you can pretty much apply those to, man, almost everything in life. But parenting, marriage, whatever, business, that
Love
would
it.
be my 2 cents. But
Oh, that was a good response. I like that.
Yeah.
Mine would probably be like to tell myself to follow my natural instincts and my heart, because I feel like I have a good set of core values, and when you're young, you're easily influenced, like there's 20-year-olds, like you're starting your career, and like sometimes it distracts you from like what you're meant to be, and I feel like the sooner you're tapped into who you are as a person and confident in that, it's like your life falls into place. So I wish I could kind of go back and tell myself that, like, trust your instincts because you actually have good instincts. And then, yeah, I think it's just life is a balance. Like, that's why we're so silly on our Instagram. Like, life is so serious, and like to us, social media is an outlet. So that's why we have fun. And we really are like fun most of the time, like that at home, too, so it's not just an act. But yeah, you got to laugh because life is short and you just never know, when it could be your last day. So you gotta laugh along the way.
You got to
yeah,
make them.
watch that Racks on Racks video. That'll make anybody laugh, man. That was so awesome.
He loves that. He loves
Oh,
that video.
dude, I don't know what we were thinking. I don't know what we were doing. It's something that KitchenAid asked for, and we just were like, all right, let's do it. I was like, all right, beyond my, against my better judgment, I'll go ahead and do it. But
It's memorable,
It's greatness, dog. It is greatness.
yeah, no, it is. Well, I like what you guys said. Integrity is a major, major thing. It's who you are. It's your character. It's how you are when nobody's looking. You can put on a facade and bring on your representative when people are watching. But how are you when nobody's watching? Like, do you have the true desire to want to act with integrity and honesty? And that's really the definition of what character is. And you're right. You're absolutely right. Like if your character and your heart is in the right place, normally things work out. Now, does life happen? Yeah. Do curveballs get thrown at you? Yeah. But for the most part, things work out as long as you have a good heart and the intent is there and the authenticity is there. And so I like what you said about that, because that is a major thing. Character will take you so far in life. And like you said, just really laughing, learning how to laugh. Life is, man, we live in a dark, dark world. And social media and society has really brainwashed us to really just, unfortunately, be negative people and think the worst of people and be negative about every single thing and situation. You know, we have to be able to find somewhere where we can laugh and just really be ourselves, because if we're being honest, these are our personalities anyway. But the problem is we can't get our personalities out because the environment that we in is just not conducive to people favoring that, right? They don't like to see people laugh. They don't like to see people have fun. They like for people to be miserable
and fail.
I don't know. I don't know why. It's just,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, the trolls comments were hard for me at first with this. Like, I considered not doing it because of some of the negative comments. But I'm like, they're not going to steal my joy, and the people that get it, get it. So,
Do not let them dim your light.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for stopping by. This was really good. I just really appreciate you guys giving us your journey and just how you met and kind of what you're doing in life. And, you know, the fact that I get to talk to authentic, good, genuine people on this show is just a fulfillment for me. Because I don't like the fake people who come over here and just try to be fake for the camera just because they're on camera. We don't want that. We want the real. We want the how you're really thinking and how you're really feeling. So the fact that I know that in the short time that I've known you guys, I know that you guys are real and authentic. It's just really an appreciation I have for that. So thank you again for coming on.
Well, thanks for having us on. And I love what you're doing with the podcast, because you guys have a lot of fun content too and videos on social media. So it's cool to hear some of your episodes and it be like talk about serious stuff. So good job. I feel like you're making a really big impact and like touching people in both ways, you know, entertainment and then also like helping them grow and see things. And so good job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So make sure you're following us on IG, where we post reels from the episodes. And if you can't watch us on IG, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts at Flip That Switch. So just make sure whether you're watching us or listening to us, you tap in with us. And again, we want to thank Melissa and Ryan for coming onto the episode. And we're going to see you guys for the next episode. And we out. Peace.